What's going on, guys? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning or evening or whatever time it is where you are. I have no way of knowing what time it is where you're at, but either way, thanks for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're not new but you've been watching my videos, thank you so much. I really love your guys' comments. It really motivates me to keep making these videos, so thank you so much for doing that. But yeah, anyways, I wanted to talk today about Adobe XD, which is an awesome UI design software. If you haven't heard of it, it's made by Adobe, so same people that did Photoshop, Illustrator, all the softwares that you love. They've made their own UI design software, and it's been out for a few years, but I haven't really talked too much about it just because I've been sort of learning it myself. But Adobe XD is really exciting to me because it's just everything in one, sort of. Like, you have the ability to design, prototype, share, collaborate, create all your styles in one software, and you're able to see all your artboards spread out and link them together. There are just so many cool features that I think are very crucial for UI design software, and they do a lot of things really well. So not only is Adobe XD an awesome software, they actually have a really good team behind it. They're always publishing videos and resources and constantly updating the experience so that it's better. You know, I really think that when you're building a software like this, it's important to have feedback from real designers, and you know, they really take that into consideration to make the experience better and just overall a smooth experience for anybody that wants to, you know, design something effectively and also just have a good time with it, you know? So I think that's what is really cool, is that there's designers designing for designers. Well, that's super meta, but I guess you see what I mean. We're gonna go ahead and jump in the software, and I'm gonna show you how to make a prototype for a wine in a can sort of e-commerce site. I couldn't think of any good concepts, but I saw somebody drinking wine in a can, so I thought, hey, you know what? New industry, might be fun to kind of explore. So let's jump in and let's do this thing. All right, guys, so I've got Adobe XD pulled up here, and you can see they've got some cool different starter templates here. So you've got your iPhone 10, you've got your iPad, you got web, you got your custom size. They've even got some tutorials here, which are pretty cool. So I recommend you check those out just to get kind of the basics. But we're gonna go ahead and start with a Apple iOS UI kit. So if we click on that, it opens up this landing page that says, you know what, we're actually updating everything. So go ahead and just download like an older version of the kit. So that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and download this iOS for Adobe XD. So let's just go ahead and download that. It'll open up this little guy. Just go ahead and click this folder, and then let's go to UI Elements and iPhone 10. So it should open it up in the app for us. Cool. And as you can see here, we've got a large amount of UI templates here for iOS. You know, you've got a bunch of different stuff. You got these emojis and smileys, keyboards. But we're gonna come down here because all we really need from this is our iPhone X frame, or iPhone 10 frame, I should say. Let's go ahead and make a new document, File, New, and let's do iPhone X. Cool, now we've got our document laid out here nicely. And you can see we've got layers on the left. We've got our selection tool, our shape tool, ellipse, lines, pen tool, text, artboard tool, and then you can search. So right now we're on our layers panel, but you can also go to your assets panel, which is this little guy. It's like two little circles. And you've got an area where you can save your colors, character styles, and then your symbols. So that's where this all lives. But let's go ahead and go back to our layers panel. Now let's go ahead and copy that iOS iPhone 10 frame. We're just gonna Command C, go back here, Command V, and we're gonna paste this in. So this is basically our workable screen area for iPhone 10. Very, very important that you put this in there so you kind of know what spacing you have to work with at the top here, because this is gonna overlay stuff. All right, so we've got this in there. Now we can go ahead and start designing. All right, so for this tutorial, I made up a fictitious wine in a can company called Aloha Winery. So this is kind of my design. I just wanted to do something sort of tropical and summery, I guess you could say. Probably just because I want to go back to Hawaii. I've only been once, but really love that place, and I thought I would make something a little bit, you know, festive and tropical. So this is what we've got. And wine in a can is sort of like a new thing that I've been seeing, so I thought it'd be kind of fun just to explore that whole industry. But this is my can, so we're just gonna drop this in here. Let's just make it like a product page, a product detail page. So this will be our main product right here. So this could be the page that you go to purchase a can, or maybe like a 6-pack or something like that. You know, maybe you want to sip on some Chardonnay while you're out by the beach or something like that. This is like where you would go to buy online. So now if you notice up here, we've got design and prototype. We're going to be looking at those later, but just keep an eye on that because this is where your main tabs are for this app. So
It's, you know, Adobe Experience Design is what it's called, and that's why we have these two tabs up here. But for now, let's go ahead and just start with a rectangle tool, and let's just start in the left-hand corner and drag this down. We're gonna make a like a hero image basically that can go behind this can. And I'm just gonna turn off this border because I don't want a border on this. And let's go ahead and just make this fill. We'll use our eyedropper tool and just sample the same color as our can. And I want to put this square behind my Aloha Chardonnay. And let's just move our iPhone X frame to the top so we can see what we're doing. Now I want to rename this this rectangle to Hero Background, Hero BG. All right, so we kind of can see already that we've got, you know, this is like our hero image. We've got our can. Now we got to add some sort of visual interest behind here. So I made these illustrations on the can, and I kind of want to repeat that in this background. So let's go ahead and open up Illustrator. I actually have all of my assets already kind of laid out here. So I went ahead and just like made these little leaves and some design elements. I've got like Hawaii right there, our logo, and then some social icons for later. But what I want to do now is just grab this leaf right here and copy it. So just hold Command C. Let's go back to our document here. And what's cool about XD is that you can just paste in your vectors right in there. And see, you can just kind of place in your vectors and scale them, and you don't lose resolution because it is a vector. So I kind of want to just position this somewhere behind the can and just kind of have it bleed off the page here. Let's go ahead and grab our other leaves. Just kind of doing the same thing, Control C and Control V to paste it in. Whoops. Let's go ahead and move this for now. We don't really need this as of right now, actually. This kind of can get in the way. Let's go ahead and lock it. But let's scale down these leaves to kind of fit here in the background. So I'm actually going to move my vectors here and see how they're not named. I'm going to go ahead and name these just so I don't get confused. So path 1, we're just going to call it leaf 1. And for path 2, we're going to call it leaf 2. And now I know that they're behind my Aloha Chardonnay. So fancy, this Aloha Chardonnay. And then let's add a few more of these leaves. So I've got this guy right here, Command C, and then let's Command V it. And let's just position these so that it looks kind of nice with the design. This is where you can just kind of play around and see what works. You kind of do a little peekaboo here. I'm holding Shift and Alt to scale this down, by the way. And I might change the color of these because they're a little conflicting as of now. I kind of want them just to be soft in the background. So let's go to our fill over here. This is your fill tool. If you click this, you can get your eyedropper, and then let's just sample the same color as our background. See how you get this kind of like magnification? Let's just sample the same color and then just bring this down ever so slightly. Because what we want here is just like a subtle texture that we can use to kind of just give it a little bit more depth and dimension, I guess you could say. You know, maybe some of these are a little bit brighter or darker, I should say, to give that illusion of depth. And I kind of want one more of these leaves, so if I just hold Option and drag, you've got a duplicate there. And then on this little corner here, you got your little rotation tool, which is nice. And we can just shift this around. We're just kind of playing around with this and seeing what looks good. I might make this a slightly lighter color like this one. So this is looking pretty cool. We've kind of got the same theme going on from the can in the background. This isn't overpowering the can. Obviously this is like the main focus, but this is kind of like a nice little just like subtle texture that we can use to kind of just bring in some more visual interest. And we can test this now with this play button up here. So if you go to the very top right corner, let's just hit play. And it just shows you how everything's kind of bleeding off the page nicely. Now I don't really like that overlap, so we can go ahead and fix that. So if I just select this and move it up, check this out. It's mirroring as we update here. So that's kind of nice. That's one of those like subtle features that really I think can go a long way. And you know, it's just nice to have this open and be able to kind of see what you're doing live. Now what I want to do is add a navigation bar to this page. So let's go ahead and grab our rectangle tool. And then let's just drag across and see how it's kind of snaps to the edge here. That's what we want. And I'm just going to make it a nice round number like 60. And let's go ahead and get rid of this border. I don't know if at this point that you can just set your preferences so that the border doesn't get applied. I haven't found out a way, so if anybody knows a way, let me know, but I haven't been able to find an easy way. But I'm still pretty new to the software, so there's probably somebody that knows. Anyways, we've got our navigation bar here, so let's go ahead and just name that nav background. And oh, we forgot to name our leaves, so let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just group these guys. We'll call them right leaves. And I'm just going to group all my leaves, actually. Let's just group them all, just for sake of keeping things organized. Leaves. Cool. So now they're all grouped. You can just move them around if you want to. So let's grab our logo that we have in Illustrator here. Aloha Winery. Let's Command C. Select our nav bar. Command V. And see, it pasted it in there. Let's just go ahead and rename this to logo. And let's go ahead and move this up. Now I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to grab this corner and just shift and alt will kind of scale it proportionately. Now let's select our logo and our nav bar. And then let's go to our center alignment up here. If you click this, it should align it perfectly in the center. And we'll also click this one, which will align it vertically within that nav bar. So now it's perfectly centered within this nav bar. So let's grab our nav background and our logo, and let's right click and go to group. And we're just going to rename this nav bar. I like to do little underscores like that just to keep it kind of nice and uniform, but you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. So now that we've got our nav bar here, we can actually add a hamburger menu and maybe like a shopping bag icon or something like that. So let's start with the hamburger menu. Hamburger menu is basically your 3 lines or however many lines that sort of indicate that you can click on the menu and expand it. It's very popular in mobile. So let's grab our rectangle and let's just kind of drag this guy like this. And let's change the fill and let's go to like a really like not 100% black, but not 100% gray, just something like in between right here. Now let's select our rectangle and let's round the corners. So right here, if you type in, let's say 100, there, see how it rounded the corners? I'll zoom in so you guys can see this. That's what we want. We want like a nice little rounded hamburger menu. Now I'm just going to duplicate this holding Alt and Shift. Let's put them about 5 pixels apart, and I'll do the same thing and see how it kind of just confirms that this next paste is like exactly 5 pixels. That's kind of helpful. And then we'll select all these holding Shift, right click, group, and we'll call this hamburger. How do you spell hamburger? Hamburger menu. And let's just kind of position this on the edge here. And let's hold shift. Let's go 1, 2, 3. So now we know it's 30 pixels from the edge. And I might just shrink this a little bit. Looks a little bit heavy. Cool, so there's our hamburger icon. And I also want to make a shopping bag icon up here. Since this is like an e-commerce site, you're gonna be able to buy this. You wanna be able to add it to your cart. So let's grab our rectangle tool. And we're just gonna use this as a frame of reference as we drag this. And then I think I wanna make this stroke about 2 pixel width. So let's go ahead and type 2 in. And let's select our same color as our hamburger icon. Now see these little guys? These will allow you to round the corners. If you hold shift and click all these, it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but I promise you they're all selected. So if we start to go like this, see how it rounds if you hold shift. That's probably one thing that I think maybe XD could work on, is just making these all seem like they're selected. And that's what's cool about XD, is like I said earlier, is that they're super open to feedback, and you know, they want to hear from designers. This is just one of those little minor things that I think maybe just, you know, got glazed over. Maybe they already know about it and they just haven't updated it, but I think that could actually be one of the updates that would make a lot of sense. But yeah, so let's go ahead and make our little handle here. I'm just gonna draw a little circle. I'm gonna get rid of my fill. Let's kind of zoom in just to see what we're doing here. And we also want to make this 2. And we want to make sure that we have the same color selected as our border. So we've got our handle here. And I'm just going to grab both paths and group. We're going to call this ICN for icon and bag. Go ahead and zoom out. And then let's just move this over here. Now that I look at it, see how they're kind of like different weights? We might want to make this a 3. Cool, so we have like a little shopping bag, we have a little hamburger menu. And we just want to make sure that these are all grouped within our nav bar. So if we click on the nav bar folder, see how it opens it up? Let's just drag this in there. There, now we've got everything within that nav bar. And it'd be a good idea to make this a symbol so that when we have multiple artboards later on, if we make any updates to this guy, it'll update across all of the artboards that we have. So let's go ahead, right click, make symbol. See how it made the little dots, little Dippin' Dots ice cream right there? That means it's a symbol. So if I, for example, make another one, and I change the color of this, see how it makes an update here? So that's really helpful when you're working on an app or anything like this where you have multiple screens. You don't want to have to go through each individual screen and update the color or something like that. So super helpful little tip there. All right, so now's a good time to put this iPhone X frame back in because I just remembered that we're gonna have to make this nav bar a little bit bigger to accommodate this this frame here. So let's go ahead and unlock our frame, slide this in. We'll lock it again. And let's just grab our nav bar and shift it down a little. We just want it to have enough breathable room. Let's just go ahead and double click on our Dippin' Dots here and grab our background and just bring this up. See how it just kind of snaps? So now this is definitely good to go for iPhone 10. While we're at it, I think we should make this nav bar a fixed element, which is also something that Adobe XD just released 2 days ago, I think. So we've got our nav bar selected. We want to go right over here to fixed position. This is a new feature they just added about a few days ago. Essentially, we're going to make this a sticky nav or a fixed nav if you want to call it that. So go ahead and click that. Now let's go ahead and make this artboard a little bit longer so that we can make it scrollable. So I'm just going to grab the artboard, drag this down. See how you've got your like dotted lines? That just shows you like the bottom of the phone screen. We're also going to want to fix this iPhone X frame as well because that'll always be there on your phone. So if you go ahead and just click fixed, let's go ahead and click the play button. And as you scroll, you've now got two elements that are fixed here. You've got the nav bar and we've got the iPhone X frame. So that's kind of a neat little feature. Now let's go ahead and add a title to this product here. So let's go ahead and slide over to the left, grab our text box, and just start typing Aloha Chardonnay. Chardonnay. I hope I'm spelling that right. And then let's go to our text alignment and just center this and see how we can just kind of position this in the middle. It'll kind of line it up for us. Now I don't want this Helvetica new font, and I do want to change this color. So let's sample the same as our hamburger menu. And let's just go to Bebas. Bebas. Bebas Kai? Yeah. And let's go ahead and make this about, I don't know, 26? No, that's 266. 26 is what we want. And I just want to space this out a little. So if you go here, let's type in 50. And let's do 100. There. It has some nice kind of breathability. I feel like I'm making that word up, breathability. I've said it before. Anyways, we'll do that. Kind of just like position this about 15 pixels from there. And then let's grab our little design element that we made over here. This little squiggly. Command C and then Command V. This will be a nice little separator for our text. Now I also want to add some description text that maybe talks about the the flavor profile of the wine and just sort of some sort of description that somebody could read. So let's grab our text over here, just drag like we did before, and let's go to Sophia Pro. And let's change our size to about 16. And let's just kind of make up a description here for this Aloha Chardonnay. A tropical blend of pineapple. I don't know why pineapple would be in a wine, but pineapple, not coconut, pineapple, melon, and what else? Kiwi. Sip on the beach, relax, and feel the island vibe. I'm just making this up. I'm not a copywriter, guys. We want to remove this kerning. Let's just take it to 0. And I'm going to go ahead and just change this to a little bit lighter. And just kind of move this up. That's looking cool. Now let's just group all these together. Right click, group. Let's just call it text. Now I want to make sure that all my layers are kind of in chronological order. So we've got our nav, we want that at the top. Actually, yeah, we want iPhone X frame at the top. The text can go underneath the Aloha Chardonnay. Leaves. Let's just group all this as our hero. Little housekeeping here, guys. Hero. Cool. So now we have everything kind of organized nicely here. Now I also want to add like a subtle just background color here. So if I just click on my iPhone X, we go to fill. I kind of want like a really subtle like beigeish yellow or something. Just something that is not white so that we have a little bit of contrast from the nav bar to our background. So far that looks okay to me. Let's just test that. They're still pretty close. Let's, you know what we'll do? We'll add a drop shadow to our nav bar. So let's click on our nav background and let's add a shadow. There we go. See, there's a nice little subtle shadow there now. So if we click preview again, there, now there's definitely a distinction between the two colors. All right, so now we're getting somewhere, guys. Let's go ahead and add maybe like the fruit that's involved in this. What did I say? Tropical blend of pineapple, melon, and kiwi. All right, so let's just find on Google. Let's go to pineapple PNG. Images. Where's our pineapple at? Is this PNG? That's a PNG. Let's copy that. Let's just paste it right in. Whoa, that's a big freaking pineapple. Let's just scale this down with Alt and Shift. And I got a PNG just so that it has a transparent background because I don't really feel like photoshopping right now. So we got a little pineapple here. Now let's find a... So we've got our pineapple here. Let's grab our melon and kiwi. Melon PNG. Images. This guy looks cool. Let's copy that. Paste that. Oh, you gotta be careful. Sometimes you get some like fake PNGs like that. Whoopsie. You got me. Let's find another melon. This looks like a real PNG. Yeah. None of that scammy PNG stuff. So we've got our melon, we've got our pineapple. What are we looking? We need our kiwi now. Kiwi PNG. All right, who's gonna be our kiwi here? How about you? Copy you. Paste our kiwi in. Shrink her down. Cool. Now I kind of want to add a little bit of like depth to these two or some kind of more dimension. So I'm going to grab my circle tool and just Alt and Shift. Some sort of like little frame behind this. Let's get rid of the border. And let's just sample our same background color and just go ever so slightly darker. And let's just move our ellipse behind the pineapple. This kind of just gives a little bit of, I don't know. I don't know what it gives it, but I feel like it needs it. Little container for the little pineapple. We'll copy our ellipse, And we'll paste it for our kiwi. Put it behind. Do the same thing for a melon. Cool, so now there's like some storytelling going on. We've got a visual that supports our description. So this is looking pretty cool. I think we get to add a sort of call to action down here that shows people that they can buy this and maybe like add it to their cart. Maybe even showing the price. So let's go ahead and add a rectangle here. I'm just gonna drag this, kind of like we did for our nav bar, just drag it across. And see how we're kind of doing it at the bottom of our document here? We want to kind of butt up against this dotted line. And let's remove that border. And I think I'm gonna make this one, let's see, 70 in height. And I'm gonna change the fill to something darker, like this. Again, you never really wanna go 100% black. There we go. That's just like a designer's thing. I don't know why. I've always been taught just never go 100% black. Let's move our fruit up a little bit. And let's make a button. So I'm going to grab a rectangle tool again and just drag this on top. And let's just make this fill the same color as our background. And remove the border once again. And then let's just make this 100% round on the sides. So we got a little pill button here. And I'm going to grab my Kiwi font, copy it, and just paste right onto my button. We'll have to move it down. And let's just make this add to cart. Because we don't want to be aggressive and say buy now. We want it to make it more of a shopping, fun experience for the user. And let's go ahead and group these guys and just call it BTN. Add to cart. Let's make our text a white color. That looks cool. And then maybe we want to make this have a little bit more contrast, so kind of bringing it over slightly. There we go. And that's our button. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a symbol as well. So let's right click and go to make symbol. We've got a little Dippin' Dot, so that looks good because we might want to use that later on. And then let's go ahead and add a price to this. I'm just going to paste my font again. Let's make it white. Just kind of zoom in down here. Let's just say 6-pack. Duplicate this. Let's just call it $23 because 23 is one of my favorite numbers. Fun fact about Cody there. And we'll make this bigger because the price needs to be bigger, I think. Maybe 18. And I might make this my Sophia Pro font just so that there's some contrast here. And we'll go to our lights. Now that I look at this, let's make the 6-pack slightly lighter than what our background gray is. Just to give it a little bit more hierarchy and visual interest. You'll hear me say that a lot, visual interest. This is looking cool. Let's go ahead and just make sure these are what? 1, 2, 3. Let's do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3. So hold shift and the arrow. So 6-pack is $23. You can add to your cart. And let's go ahead and do the same thing we did with our navigation. Let's make this a fixed element. So let's grab the whole thing. Let's group it. Let's call it CTA bar for a call to action bar. And we will, yeah, we want it to be above everything, but below our iPhone X frame and nav bar. And let's go ahead and just click fix position. And let's preview this. Ooh, look at that. We've got multiple fixed elements happening here, and that is pretty sweet. All right, so we made some really good progress here. We've got our scrollable product page. I'm probably going to add more stuff to this page, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to skip ahead so you guys can see because I really want to get more into the prototyping. This was more so just showing you this fixed elements and then just how to design a page in XD. But I'm going to show you some more stuff like overlays and just linking together artboards and things like that. So hang tight. All right, so I went ahead and designed all these other pages. I have a menu right here that we could use to slide out from this hamburger menu. Then we've also got our story page, which kind of just goes over like maybe the origins of the brand and some of the, history behind the family that made it. I put family owned and operated. Again, I'm just making all this up. It doesn't actually exist. This probably isn't even a picture of Hawaii. Like I searched vineyards on Unsplash and this is what came up. So again, this is all just kind of like placeholder stuff, but you can kind of get the sense of, some storytelling that's going on here between the pages. Now notice I duplicated the add to cart button. We can actually go zoom in on this, and if we click it, it's a symbol. I'm just gonna go ahead and double click, and you would think that if I change this, let's say learn more, that it would update it here. That's not how it works, see? It actually retains its style, but it doesn't change the text on the other one. So that's actually a really nice little feature that I've noticed that Adobe XD has. But let's go ahead and link this learn more to our story page. So what we have to do for that is to go to prototype mode. We have our learn more selected, and let's just drag this little arrow guy right over here to our story page. What we want this to do is basically just dissolve. So our transition is dissolved, our target is our story, and we want to ease in. So let's go ahead and just preview that real quick. Scroll down, click learn more, and look at that, voila. All right, so we have this happening. We've got the learn more going to our story. Now what we need to do is link the hamburger menu to our menu that we have designed over here. So we want this to slide out, and we're gonna go ahead and use that new overlay feature that Adobe XD just released a few days ago. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So, all right, so in order for this page to link to this page, we need to select what element is going to direct it to that page. So let's grab our nav bar, and let's grab our hamburger menu. So see how it just made that little like blue arrow? Let's click that little guy and just direct them this way and just let go on top of our menu page. Now see this little dialog box that opened up? We've got transition and we've got overlay. We want to focus on overlay first and see how it made this little green sort of cage. That's basically just showing you where this page is mapped to when it finally does rest an overlay on top of it. So right now, like that looks pretty good. It's just basically covering up the page. We want this not to dissolve. We want it to slide right. And let's just do ease and out. And let's make the duration about 6 so we can make a longer animation here. And we also want to make this X icon link back to this page. And I think this could slide left to come back out. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and just see what that looks like now. So we'll go over to our hamburger menu and see now that when you scroll over it, there's something happening. You got the little like Mickey Mouse hand. That just shows that there's an interaction to be had. So let's go ahead and click that. Oh, and look at that little buttery transition. Let's go ahead and click the close. Perfect. Now let's just very quickly link the Our Story link to our Story page. We'll just do the same thing, grab it and bring it over here. And let's just go ahead and make that a dissolve. And let's go ahead and preview that. So we're gonna open our menu, click our story, and we're there. So I think that about does it, guys. We've got, 2 pages, we've got a menu, we've got some overlays, we've got some fixed elements. We've got a working interactive prototype that we made it all in, probably what, like 30 minutes or so?
So there you go. That's a simple sort of prototype that I designed in Adobe XD. Hopefully this tutorial was easy enough for you guys to follow along. I'd love to hear your feedback, any comments, any suggestions. Again, I'm still pretty new to the software, but I figured I'd share what I know as of now. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and maybe share the video with somebody that could maybe benefit from some of this stuff.